Yeah, so we were just discussing about the Malaysian culture, that how it works, how people meet, greet each other, what are the gestures people see or show to each other. So how about that?
Well, let me start with prefacing this. Every place, every country, every city within the country has a different, I'll use the word social norm, which becomes a sort of culture in terms of networking and interacting with another person or another group of people. So here in Malaysia, let me bring it down. I've got 3 points which will be helpful. One is, if you're coming in from the outside, it's very important to remember that Malaysia is a very diverse country. We've got diversity in terms of the social communities of people. Yeah, there are three or four main big communities, being primarily an Islamic country, but it's important to remember that it's very diverse. And that diversity then flows into a commonality, which is food.
All
Food
right.
is a common passion, if I may use the word, across the length and breadth of the country. And the cuisine is for any foodie anywhere in the world coming to Malaysia, you would get absolutely, I don't know what the word is. It's a gastronomic delight for
Right.
the different cuisines that is available. So food from that diversity becomes a binding factor and a common factor for networking, for greeting. Now, pre-COVID, it was an absolute must, and whether it's meetings internally or you're going to meet with a prospective client, the more you do it over food, the better it is. The more, it becomes informal. There's a commonality between who likes what, and that sort of sets the tone in terms of the discussion. You don't approach very cut and dry. So yeah, we've sent you the proposal, and what do you think, Miss Amna? How do you feel like that? No, you don't do that. You go around to say, okay, let's meet at so and so place because they have that cuisine, which I know you like that type of food. So I thought we'll, take a couple of hours over that meeting. Are you open for lunch? Or in Malaysia, we have a common breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning as a breakfast business meeting. There are lots of networking groups that work as business, or what is also called the high tea, which is roughly at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. So, food flowing from that first point of diversity is very common in getting networking done. The next and the third point would be in sports, it's a football crazy country. It's
Oh,
amongst the top EPL followers when EPL was still being played, and I mean, it's still being played now, but there are major fan clubs for all the major EPL clubs out here. And food and football, the two F's, drive networking. So that's the commonalities. From there, you have individual interest groups, which is on movies, on music, on fashion and everything. But food is the primary, and openness. By openness, I mean that you come into networking to say, I'm meeting you because this is what I do and I believe it can add value. So you meet in. And coming from a marketing perspective, it all adds up to who you know, how well has your brand sort of created a perception, and you reach out to network. Referrals work extremely well. So when you get, to meet somebody over a mutual cup of tea, to use that phrase, so you know me and you're introducing me to a third person, and we all meet for a cup of tea over here because Malaysia's got its own special tea called teh tarik or pulled tea. Tarik is Bahasa for pulled. Malaysia is well known for it. It makes that networking that much more uh, easy because there's a common trust. The person coming to meet knows the person introducing you, so that's the commonality that works. But I'll boil it down to this: it's to remember diversity across. So diversity, for example, in greeting, if we are meeting a Muslim, it's always, now of course it's hand on heart because of the public health measures, but even before, it's always been there that while the handshake is there, you don't handshake with a lady. The gentlemanliness or the adat, if I would use that word, is, you know you just bow your head a little bit with hand on heart. I mean, that's what I do. That's what's worked for 20 years that I've been here, though I'm not Malaysian, so I can't hold to say that it's worked. It's the right way. It's the way that has helped me create networks over here. The second is appreciating the food and taking the discussion over food, ensuring that there's common courtesy and graciousness extended to understand what cuisine or what snacks does your person you're meeting prefer, and then you meet at a common point. So you've got a whole variety from all pure Western to all the way down to I would say Indian and Asian cafes and cuisine. So meeting in offices is very common. Meeting out of office is also equally common. And now, thanks to the pandemic, virtual team meets and virtual chats have become a regular. I mean, people like, in fact, they prefer not going onto a webinar for 30 minutes and getting
Yes.
into a simple chat. So for a client of mine, non-Malaysian, but looking at the Malaysian market, in November, we set up this whole thing about a subject matter interest that if people want to sign on, and it's once in a fortnight, 30-minute chat with a subject matter expert who works for my client organization. And we started with literally like 4 or 5 people joining just to know more about it. To now, in February, we've had 37 people on just
Wow.
sign on regularly. We've gone from that 4 to 5 people to 37 people in the span of these 4 months. Just bring your own tea, bring your own coffee, whatever beverage you like. And we do it at 3 p.m. Malaysia time, which is about 11 a.m. Dubai time, for 30 minutes. And any FAQs or questions and everything, you can just pop it in. And then the team at the back end picks it up and sends them direct answers, PDFs, and if they need, and some of them, we've had about 8, 9 people over these 4 months reach out for personal 1 hour chats,
Mhm.
with the company, with the subject matter expert. So that's it. That's networking. It's common. It's uh,
And type
salam
of
alaikum with Muslim people, and hello, good morning, good afternoon, how are you with non-Muslims and others, because they're diverse. And being just human, gracious, polite, just the way you would like to be addressed yourself and respected, to reciprocate that when you're reaching out. It's just the common decencies world over. Be kind, be appreciative, be receptive. If you can't say something good, don't say anything bad. That's it.
that's important. Yes. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for
And
sharing the
always
amazing.
important that you have something of value. Yeah. I mean, why are you meeting somebody? Why are you reaching out? Don't just, for job seeker, it's not, I want to talk to you for 30 minutes to get a job. I mean, what's it for
Yeah.
the person who's meeting you? There's nothing, right? But say that, look,
Yeah.
I'm doing this and I'd like to talk to you. My goal is to get a job, but could I share 30 minutes or have 30 minutes of your time to take some advice on this area that I'm working on? Or that's the approach to networking. And 7, 8, 9 out of 10 people, I would say, would always say yes. I mean, I do. I give up 30 minutes, equivalent of about 2 hours a week, to talk to people just on that networking basis.
Exactly.
That's it.
And that's like beautiful to know from your side about the Malaysian culture, and that's what I love actually to know from the different countries around the globe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at
Thank you
the
so
end
much
of
for
the day, the only thing I can add is, world over, the word is decency. If you're kind, gracious, and decent, you have that automatically reciprocated. One has to be conscious of the social culture in play in that place, the city or the region. And when you give, respect to that, you automatically earn respect. And
yeah.
giving and earning respect creates trust. So you're going into that first 3 to 5 seconds of that reciprocalness creates, I want to talk to you. I want to know more about you. And then it's, of course, how you can give value, keep it precise, keep it prim, value the other person's time, don't go rambling on. That's all that works. That's the best way. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you so much, Amna. Pleasure.